Rank 5 personas are honestly pretty busted, and these are the ones you want to build right now on global. It is impossible to make a rank 5 persona video without talking about Koumokuten. This is a persona that ends up being really similar to Succubus, which is a persona that a lot of people recommended you build early game. The way that his passive works, he increases element accuracy by 21.2%. At the start of a battle, increase attack of ally with highest attack for 10% and crit rate by 4% for 3 whole turns. And you get this buff just for having him in your first slot when you enter a battle, which is just a free buff. And the skill you get from this persona is similar to Succubus's, except it's an entire team-wide buff. It increases the party's critical rate by 5.9% for every 10% of the user's critical rate. Increase parties' critical rate by 1% more, up to 4%. This lasts up to 3 turns, again. He's a great team-wide buffer, and honestly, he's great to just bring into any sort of content in the game. And if you were to overclock him, these buffs just go up even higher. It increases the attack of the ally with the highest attack by 14% instead, and their critical rate by 6% for 3 turns. And again, this is just a free buff, like I said, and he's great to bring into just about any sort of content. There's honestly nothing that can go wrong from having him on your team. He's a great one to invest to at rank 5. Now, Sarasvati is one that you would want to bring if you want Wonder to be more of a healer. And honestly, she just does this job really well. Like, her passive increases healing by 15%, and after healing, heal the ally with the lowest HP for 24% of the user's attack. Just increasing her heal capability by quite a bit, and also healing the ally with the lowest HP is never bad. Just gives your team even more sustainability. And if you were to overclock this persona, at overclock 1 it already raises the heal to the lowest ally for 3% more than it previously was. But the thing about her overclock that's really special is if you overclock her to overclock 2. Because this adds an entirely new section to her passive. If target's HP is below 50%, increase this effect by 15%. This means that if the party's low, she will heal even more, just helping you get through those close call situations even more consistently. And the skill that you get from her is Mother Goddess Chant. And this skill is actually capable of doing 2 things. For one, it restores party's HP equal to 17.3% of attack plus 336. And it decreases party's damage taken by 7.7% for 2 turns. This persona is already great at healing, and also giving the party a decreased damage taken increases their defense, obviously. It helps them survive longer and gives Wonder more turns where he can do buffing or debuffing or things other than just healing. Not even to mention the fact that she can also acquire healing boost 3, just increasing her healing even more. If you are lacking a sustainer, or you want to use Wonder as a sustainer instead, this is the one you want to go for at rank 5, for sure. Now, this is one that's going to be really helpful if you want Wonder to output extra damage, mainly in boss targeting situations. Byakko is an assassin type persona with a lot of single target hits. For example, Sharp Claws deals physical damage to one foe equal to 133.2 of attack. If target's HP is below 50%, increase damage by 40%. This already makes this character a pretty good single target DPS, but this is without even going into the passive. This persona's passive increases critical rate by 12.5%, and at the end of a turn, you gain Fighting Spirit. Increase attack by 10% for a max of 6 stacks. After defeating a foe, gain 2 Fighting Spirit. What it means, to put it simply, is that at the end of every turn, you will gain 1 Fighting Spirit with this persona. And for every turn, you will increase your attack by 10%. Meaning after 6 turns, you will get a 60% attack increase. This can turn Wonder into a pretty devastating DPS in boss situations. Obviously, you get skills like Fizz Boost 3 to increase physical damage even more on this character. And you also get access to Apt Pupil 3, which increases critical rate by 6.5%. And if it's a boss that likes to spawn minions, or if it's just AoE content, this persona still can work. Because after defeating a foe, you gain 2 Fighting Spirit stacks. So you can really just keep stacking these up even faster if you are in a situation where either minions or AoE. Of course, it still isn't the most effective, but if you are in a situation like this, it is helpful. Now, if you were to overclock this persona, as overclock 1 increases the attack gain by a little bit. If you were to go from 1 to 2, not only does a Fighting Spirit stack increase your attack by 11.5% now, it increases your critical rate by 1.2%, which if you do the math at max stacks, this would be a 7.2% crit rate increase. All in all, a great persona if you want Wonder to be outputting damage for your team. This is definitely one to consider building. Now, I figured it would be great to include a Guardian persona in this list for people that want Wonder to be more of a debuffer and protector for the team. But I'm not gonna lie, I've been staring at this elephant's name for 5 minutes and I can't pronounce it. Therefore, I'm calling him Giri. The way that this persona actually works is he increases element resistance by 17.4%, but the thing that you really want to focus on is that he decreases party's damage taken from foes with debuffs by 16%. And I'm sure you could have guessed it already, that's exactly what his skill does. Decreases all foes' attack by 16.3% for 3 turns. As long as Mata Runda stays up, which obviously upon casting it stays up for 3 turns, which is quite a decent amount of time, these two effects stack. So not only will you be taking the decreased damage because of the passive, you'll also be getting less damage done to you because the foe's attack has been dropped as well, making this character pretty significant at reducing the damage your party takes. This makes this persona a great one for those situations where you just can't seem to keep your team alive and you need that little bit extra sustainability, but not necessarily in just spamming heals. Sometimes spamming healing isn't enough. That's where a persona like this comes in. Now, this persona's overclocks are actually very simple. Each overclock decreases the party's damage taken from foes with debuffs by an extra 2%, overclock 1 being 18%, overclock 2 being 20%. If you want Wonder to be more of a guardian for your team, this is the one to choose at rank 5. And he's a very, very simple one to explain and a very simple one to use. Just use this skill. And the final rank 5 persona I want to mention at number 5 is Yurlungur. This persona actually has 2 parts of his passive to explain. The first part, increased crit damage by 17.4%. This is obviously a buff for Wonder himself. Now the second part of the passive, increased foe's crit damage taken by 14%. If the foe is shocked, increase for 9% more. Now, this persona works fine with Wonder applying the shock on his own because the enemies just take increased crit damage if they're shocked no matter what. So as long as he's keeping the enemy shocked, this buff applies to the entire team. But the place this persona will really shine is in the team with the new featured 5-star unit, Yui. If you are running this persona with Yui, it will increase all of the crit damage taken from her by 14%, and if they are shocked, which they should be, it will increase it by 9% more. And this is another persona with very simple overclocks. It just further increases the critical damage taken by foes to 16%, and if the foe is shocked to 10% at overclock 1. And at overclock 2 increases these values to 18% and 11% respectively. This would also give you the ability to bring these teams into content where enemies are normally electric resistant, because Elect Break removes electric resistance from one target for 2 turns, making that team a lot more consistent in a lot more types of content. And those are the top 5 rank 5 personas that you should be building on your account. I hope you learned something from this and I hope I helped you out, and if I did, I hope you can subscribe because I'm getting really close to 1k and it'd be really cool to hit that sometime soon. That's going to be all for me. I'm out. Peace.